Hello there, it's Pavo and welcome back to ZooCrafting. I hope you're all doing awesome. So we've got a brand new exhibit that we're going to be building today, the Eurasian Wolf exhibit. And we're going to be heading on over there in a couple of minutes. But first of all, we have to gather up some resources. Now, I do have a couple of other things to show around my place as well. I have a bit of a problem. And it's a bit of a noisy problem. I don't know if you can hear it because I definitely can, and it's been deafening me the past couple of days. So I'm just going to head inside and we will, well, you can straight away see what the problem is. My house is full of peafowl. Now there is a reason for all of these peafowl being here. Basically, Seri has a son on ZooCrafting called Junior, and I thought it would be a nice idea to give Seri an albino peacock, and the only way to get an albino peacock is to hatch a load of peacock eggs, and that is exactly what I did. I popped them all into my egg incubator, got them all up to 100% and hatched a load here. Fortunately, I managed to get an albino peacock, so like the effort was worth it, but now I have hundreds and hundreds of peafowl wandering around my house, meowing at me. And I've still also got my happy birthday peafowl from given to me from Alex a couple of years ago that I still have not got around to putting into an exhibit, but we definitely will do so. We definitely will. We're going to be building an exhibit over in the Oriental Gardens, which I've reserved for them. But we're not going to be doing that today. I just thought I'd point it out because I know I'd get a lot of questions. And these are my favourite bird, my favourite animal. So we're definitely going to be popping them into an exhibit. But anyway, yes, so I've spent the past couple of days mining. I've gathered a load of different resources, so I've got a load of iron, I've got some wood in my materials backpack, and I don't know if I've mentioned this because I've been doing a lot of streaming recently, so I can never remember if I said it in a stream or in an episode, but unfortunately I lost my backpacks. So I logged on one day and my player data had been reset. I ended up in Relic Ruins, and I had nothing in my inventory, which was a bit of a bummer. But I've managed to obtain most of the items I had. I just don't have all of the materials, but it's fine because most of the stuff in that was junk. It just means I've lost all my tools. So I've lost my really fancy scythe that I used to have. But that's no problem. As soon as I get around to figuring out the Tinker's Construct mod, I will be able to get a scythe back. So alongside some iron, which I'm going to be using to make some iron bars to line the walls of the new exhibit, the wolf exhibit, because we don't want any wolves escaping. So I thought the best material to use would be iron because it's quite durable. I need a load more wood. So I have planted a bit of a forest here. I went around and planted a load of saplings and I thought, well, this is going to be quite time consuming. And I looked over in the distance and we had, alongside that chocobo over there. Oh, we've got two chocobo. We had a couple of tree ents wandering around. And for those of you that don't know, tree ents are like magical creatures from the Moe's Creatures mod, which plant trees. They basically plant saplings. And the good thing about those is that you can chop down the trees that they plant and you'll get a load of wood. So we do have a version of Moe Creatures on the server, which is not quite complete. It's a really old version. It's quite buggy. So I know that one of the features of Ents is if you chop trees down next to them, they should attack you. But the version that we have on the server, they don't do that. So even though it's quite cheaty, I mean, oh well, it still works. It still works. It just means I can get a lot of wood. So hopefully I end up with a lot of resources, but I thought it'd be nice just to sort of rehome them over here. When I first moved into this area of the server, I did move them out of here. I did chop down a load of trees so I could build my house. So this technically was their home to begin with, and I guess I've just moved them back. I don't know if it's going to be temporary or permanent. I do quite like having a forest right next to my house, and I have no idea what I'd put in here otherwise. In fact, we do have a phoenix on the roof, and I have spoken about building the phoenix, whose name is Sky, a home. And we could perhaps build sort of like a Rapunzel tower over here and make Sky live in the very top of the tower, and we could sort of surround that by a forest. That'd be an interesting idea. Let me know what you think about that. I think that'd be really cool. Just going to pick up a couple of these apples as well. It's quite funny because I have been playing a lot of the new Legend of Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, and one of the main sources of food in that is apples. So whenever I see an apple now, I'm always like, apple, grab it, that could come in really, really useful. So I'm just going to chop down a couple more of these. We're not going to need many at all. Oh, and speaking of food, I'm just going to nibble some of this chili. I don't know whether those mushrooms, oops, didn't mean to do that. I don't know whether those mushrooms were placed here by the Ents, but if they were, that is pretty cool. It means that I also have a supply of mushrooms as well. So I'm just going to pick those up. I know for sure that the poppies and everything were placed by the Ents. They placed a lot of vegetation, and this is going to be a very, very, very dense forest. So I'm going to have to be very careful if I keep it here, because we are going to get some hostile mobs spawning, which is not always the best thing that we want on the server. I mean, sometimes it is good because you can get some resources like string from spiders, gunpowder from creepers is very, very useful as well. But when you're like me, a noob, and you have very little powerful armor, well, I mean, currently I'm fully equipped with everything. But when you're a noob like me, the monsters we have on the server can be very, very deadly. Okay, let's head on over to the place that we're going to be building today. I could take my teleporters, I could take one of my wonderful horses. What should we do you reckon? I am going to take, which one haven't we taken out in a while? I think Maximus. We're going to take Maximus out. I'm not going to close the stables, that'll be fine. And I have discussed in a couple of past episodes, perhaps building like a, again, I can't remember if I said this in episodes or streams, but building a little sort of farmyard area for the zoo, like a little petting zoo area, where we're going to have like farmyard animals that aren't really exotic enough to be put into the zoo, but would be a really cool addition anyway. So we could have cows, we could have bulls, we could have sheep, horses, we could put whatever, any sort of animals in there. So I thought that'd be a cool idea. So also let me know what you think about that as well. Oh wow, I forgot how speedy Maximus was. I have also been tidying up a couple of these exhibits because we tend to have a lot of wild animals just wander into the exhibits. And saying that, looking into Boris's exhibit, we've got a horse over there that wants to escape, and we have a chocobo. So let me just go ahead and rescue those. I'm going to pop them both into a safari net so I can move them out of the exhibit. If I remember correctly, the door is over here. It is indeed. I'm going to pick you up, and oh, there's a cow as well. Okay, I'm just going to shuffle the cow off. Hopefully it doesn't climb back in. It probably will, but oh well. That's a lovely yellow colour in the safari nets. And I don't know if I'm going to show this off as well yet because it's not finished, but I have been working a lot on the bat caves in my streams, and I'm super excited to show them off when they are finished. They've got no bats in at the moment, but the layout is pretty much done, and I'm super excited to get around to finishing that. The bat caves was one of my favourite exhibits in the old zoo, and it had a wonderful devincing sign outside the front, so I'm going to see if we could bring that back as well. Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to hop off Maximus. Hopefully he doesn't wander too far. I could tell that he wants to go away, but I'm sure we won't lose him. Why do we have a panther in the fox exhibit? That is a very, very good question. And why is the fox not in the fox exhibit? That is another very good question. Did I forget to close the door? I hope not. But yes, so anyway, we're going to get started on the Eurasian wolf exhibit. And I have placed down, I think it must be hundreds of these carpenter's blocks, so to sort of give a border of where I want the exhibit to be. So it's going to be a huge exhibit. It's not going to be, actually yeah, it is. It's going to be the biggest exhibit we've got so far. Oops, no, I wanted that. Didn't mean to do that. So we're going to have a huge expanse of forest for the wolves to roam around in. And I'm not going to chop down many trees. I am going to do just a bit of terraforming, so it's a bit nicer for the wolves to venture around in, but there's going to be so much space for them to wander around in. There's going to be a lot of trees to hide under, there's going to be a lot of shelter. So I am going to do a slight bit of terraforming, so sort of this hill over here I'm just going to get rid of. I'm going to have to make sure that they can't escape. So they're going to be walls around the front 3 edges, and then the back walls are just going to be like a hill. So I'm going to have to be positive that they can't climb up out the hill, because again, we don't want wolves wandering around my zoo terrorizing the visitors. That would not be good. And I am also going to have to make sure that we don't have any wildlife, for example sheep or deer or horses or in fact chicken wandering inside the wolf exhibit, because that's not a good thing. That's not what we want either. So yeah, I guess we're gonna go ahead and get started. I did notice we had a grave over here. Flynn was killed by magic, had lived 105 days. So I'm just gonna pick up that grave. It gave me, oh gosh, we have the remains of Flynn, bone and some rotten flesh, and a gravestone. So I guess Flynn was, I don't know how he died, by magic, but I'm not sure what killed him, but I guess he died here. So I now have a gravestone, and I don't know what to do with that, so I'm just going to tuck it into one of my backpacks for the time being. And I'll put the remains next to the grave as well. I hope I don't forget that that is Flynn, and I hope I don't feed it to my dogs. So if I do, you're going to have to point that out. But we're going to make sure to give Flynn a proper burial at some point. Okay, I'm just going to let loose this chocobo over here. I've got a wild horse, which was that horse, and I'm going to get rid of that panther, that black panther, outside, oh, from inside of the fox exhibit. And speaking of black panthers, I haven't seen that movie yet, but I really do want to go see it. I don't know if any of you have, but it does look pretty awesome. So the outside of this exhibit is going to be very time consuming to build, because I'm going to build it in a similar style to what I've done for the fox exhibit. It's going to be the same materials, the same design. It's going to be 3 blocks tall, made out of iron mesh. What was this called again? Iron bars, so that you can see through, but so that the animals can't escape. And because we have this built on a hill, it's going to be fairly difficult to basically fit everything together. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start it in this episode, I'm going to finish it off camera, and then in the next episode, well, we can add in the wolves, we can do like the terraforming or whatever. So I am going to go ahead, I am going to grab the materials that I need. So I need a load of calmness blocks, I need a load of wood, and I need a load of this iron. Now I hope I have enough iron. As I said, I did go mining, and on ZooCrafting, the funny thing is that we don't have any iron that naturally generates in the world. So you know you've got like regular Minecraft iron. I think if we can search it in this tab. So we have the default Minecraft iron. It does not generate in the world. Instead, we have to find other sources of iron. For example, we've got, is it hematite? I can never spell this. It's spelled really weird, like hematite. Yeah, hematite, this one. And other ones from the rock hounding mod. And they give us sort of iron nuggets, so they don't give us iron bars. So getting iron is super time consuming. It takes so much more effort than it would in regular Minecraft. But oh well, I think gathering resources is quite rewarding when you've ended up with a finished exhibit anyway. So I'm going to stop blabbing on, and I'm going to get to actually building the exhibit. So we're going to start here, I guess, and we're going to be placing some pillars, and I'm just going to check how I did this. So I don't think there's any specific like distance between them. I think I just place them as I saw fit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to place 3 there, and I'm going to count to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to place another 3 pillars. And then I'm going to get these, the calmness blocks, and I'm going to hammer these back so they're, oops, got the rest as well. So they're like half slabs. And then if I've got a crafting station, which I really thought I had one nearby, I guess I must have picked it up because I didn't think I'd need it. And I'm sorry dear, I will find you a home soon as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had a crafting station nearby. I guess I did pick it up. But oh well. That's not a problem. I can... Here we are, we've got one. Got one in my materials backpack. So I'm going to place that down here next to my doggies, Marlboro. Just gonna pet you, who's a good boy. And Chalfont, you're also a very good boy as well. Okay, and what was I going to do? I was going to create some iron bars. So I think we've probably got more than enough iron here to create all the iron bars in the world, but we're going to make, to start off with, we're going to make a stack and a bit, and then we're going to use some magic, Minecrafting magic, and we're going to chisel these iron bars into, was it this one? Thin iron grid, was that the right one? Have I done this right? I hope I have. And then we're going to place these on the front of this exhibit like so. And this is how these walls are constructed. And I think they look pretty darn awesome. And then finally, I have to convert some of this oak wood into oak planks, which is why we've got so much, which is why I planted that ant forest by my house. And then we need to chisel some of these into oak wood scaffolding that we can place on the bottom here. And I really like this aesthetic that we have going on here, and if we continue this all the way around, it's going to look super awesome. The only problem is on these diagonals and stuff, it's going to be a bit awkward to place this same design in, but I'll come up with some sort of solution for that anyway. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to place, let's see, have we got everything we need here? Yep. Okay, so we've got one there. Going to place that there and hammer that back one. Then we could do the... so how were we doing this? We're going to do this, hammer that back a bit. And we can put the log there. So this is sort of how we are going to do diagonals. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but we can't do diagonal bars. It just doesn't work. But this doesn't look too bad. You just got a bit of a, like, it's a bit of a faff to place everything. But I mean, I guess it looks okay. And then here we can do the same sort of thing, but going this way. And then we can place the bars like this. Whoops. And I think it does look quite nice. So this is going to be a very time consuming progress, because I've got to do this to the whole of this area. I'm going to be filling in a couple of these little caves as well. Well, especially, actually, I don't know about this one. I think I might fill in just the underground portion of this a bit. But I mean, it gives the wolves a bit of a place to venture. Might block off a couple of the tunnels. But I mean, that cave is quite nice. I mean, I'm not really sure about that, to be honest. Okay, and how are we going to be doing this one? Another 3, was it? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. In fact, we're going to do... Oops. Not quite what I wanted. Yeah, that's the bit of a problem with building on hills, how some of these pillars are going to be a bit taller than others. But it's not the biggest problem in the world. Something we can fix. Oops, I built that a bit too far forwards anyway. Got to fix that. Okay, and we'll hammer that one back. Have I done this right? Yes, I have. And I can chop this down as well with my axe. Awesome. Yeah. I hope that was right. I mean, that block there looks a bit weird, so I'm just going to replace that with a dirt block if I've got one. If not, I'm just going to quickly dig up this corner block and place that there instead. And the other question that I do have to ask you is, so for most of my zoo we have, if I can open up journey map, we have cobblestone paths everywhere, and I don't know whether this will look as nice over here in, what were we calling this section, the European section. I don't know if it will look as nice over here, just everything being, say, like cemented or concreted. I'm not the biggest fan of concrete, but placing down cobblestone does give visitors like a route to follow, so I don't know if I'm going to place that here or whether I could use dirt paths. Dirt paths might be a better idea, but let me know what you think. Your ideas are always awesome and I'm going to take them into consideration. So I am going to end the episode here. I'll let we got a little fox coming to join us for this. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next episode where we are going to be finishing this, well, I'm going to be finishing it off camera, but we're going to be adding in the walls in the next episode. I'm also going to try and make some of those bibliocraft signs to place around, because I've sort of been a bit behind on those. I don't think the foxes have one yet, and I don't think a couple of the other animals in the zoo have them. And for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, the bibliocraft signs are just like the information signs that I put in a couple of the exhibits. So basically I've just got to catch up on my to-do list. But yeah, anyway, thank you for watching. See you all in the next episode. Bye. Bye.